The FBI is assisting in negotiations to free a group of American missionaries kidnapped in Haiti over the weekend. I'm Natalie Brand with what we know about the situation on the ground and why those in Haiti say the violence there is worsening.
And school testing scores are down across the country. We'll hear from area school districts about local trends.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The National Assessment of Educational Progress has released the latest national report card, and scores are down in some states. This is KOAM News at 5. The NAEP monitors the academic performance of 9, 13, and 17-year-old students with long-term trend assessments. The data goes back nearly 5 decades to the early 1970s. On the state level, Missouri and Kansas were both down compared to the last assessment in 2012, but not much compared to the national average. Oklahoma was down significantly compared to the national average. The NAEP has not yet released specific district information, but area districts monitor their own numbers closely.
We're checking our students' progress and we're checking their growth. And while proficiency rates are important, and that's what you see with state assessments, it's that growth target. And if a student is behind, what is their expected growth in order to catch up? And are we growing our students academically?
Tonight at 6, we're going to hear more from the Neosho and Joplin districts on recent performance and what statewide numbers look like on the national report card. The Kansas Bureau of Investigation is looking into the death of a Crawford County jail inmate who officials say was assaulted by another inmate. Authorities say 20-year-old Dante Martinez of Pittsburgh was found injured in a common area of the jail. EMS provided medical aid and took Martinez to the hospital where he later died of his injuries. Jail officials determined through surveillance video that 25-year-old Gavin Wood of Arma attacked Martinez. Wood is now charged with second-degree murder. Checking in with Doug Heddy now for a first look at the weather.
Hey, Dow. Actually, it turned out to be a really nice day for us today. After the beautiful weekend, temperatures into the 60s on Saturday. We climbed into the 70s yesterday. We climbed back into the 70s for us today, but nothing going on. Clear skies across the region. We do have some clouds out across central Kansas down through Oklahoma. These are going to pass right on through during the overnight hours tonight. No rain, just a few clouds out there, and then we'll be right back to sunny skies for us during the morning hours tomorrow. Temps right now, lower 70s, a little warmer once you get into our western counties, but if you want to get outside this evening, it looks great. We do have a little bit of a south wind kicking in at about 10 to 15, and this is going to stick around over the next couple days. But temperatures, we drop back through the 60s, 50s, not as chilly for us tonight. We do have a cold front on Wednesday. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
See you soon. Boundary-breaking General Colin Powell has died. Powell was the first African American to serve as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and Secretary of State. He drew criticism when he went before the UN Security Council and made the case for the U.S. war against Iraq. He cited faulty information claiming that Saddam Hussein had secretly stashed away weapons of mass destruction. The 84-year-old died of complications from COVID-19 but was fully vaccinated. We're going to have more on so-called breakthrough cases a little bit later in Health Watch. CBS News has confirmed the FBI is helping with hostage negotiations in Haiti after 17 Christian missionaries were abducted there over the weekend. State Department says officials are in contact with the families of the abducted group, which includes 16 Americans and 1 Canadian, 5 of them children. Reporter Natalie Brand is at the White House with the latest on U.S. efforts to bring them to safety.
A senior law enforcement official tells CBS News FBI tactical teams are on the ground in Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince, ready for a possible rescue mission and assisting in making contact with the kidnappers of 17 missionaries.
Where our efforts right now are focused are with officials on the ground, including from the FBI, working closely with our diplomatic team in the U.S. Embassy in Port-au-Prince, who's coordinating with local authorities, providing assistance to the families.
The missionaries were affiliated with Ohio-based Christian Aid Ministries Ministries, which released a statement saying, "We request urgent prayer for the group of Christian Aid Ministries workers who were abducted while on a trip to visit an orphanage." The gang believed to be responsible is known to carry out mass kidnappings from buses and cars. CBS News obtained a WhatsApp message from a person who claims to have been in contact with the abducted group, which read in part, "Please pray for us. We're being harassed, kidnapped. They have control of our vehicle." Haiti has been rocked by turmoil in recent months with the assassination of the country's president, a 7.2 magnitude earthquake, and the mass return of thousands of Haitian migrants from the U.S. southern border. Gary Pierre, founder and publisher of the Haitian Times, says gangs feel empowered amid the chaos.
There's no functioning government, and the gangs rule Port-au-Prince and the country at large.
The Center for Analysis and Research in Human Rights says there's been more than 600 kidnappings in Haiti just this year. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
The U.S. State Department has a do not travel advisory in place for Haiti, citing kidnapping, crime, civil unrest, and COVID-19. Jury selection today began in Georgia in the murder trial of 3 men accused of killing Ahmaud Arbery. The 25-year-old was running through a neighborhood in February of 2020 when the defendants chased him in their trucks. He was shot to death after a struggle. The suspects claim they thought Arbery was a burglary suspect. They're charged with murder, false imprisonment, and aggravated assault. Scientists say the volcano on the Spanish island of La Palma is looking more like a tsunami as it unleashes more lava nearly a month after it first blew. The volcano is still setting off dozens of minor tremors every day, shooting plumes of ash several miles high, blanketing the area and disrupting flights. So far, the scorching rivers have swallowed up nearly 2,000 buildings, including hundreds of homes. Coming up in Health Watch, breaking down breakthrough COVID cases.
As the nation mourns the death of General Colin Powell, doctors are warning about breakthrough COVID-19 cases for high-risk patients. I'm Elise Preston with advice on staying safe after vaccination.
And later, the shipping industry moves toward autonomous trucks as it struggles to find drivers.
Access.
Topping today's Health Watch, Colin Powell's family has said he was fully vaccinated for COVID-19, which means he had a breakthrough infection. Reporter Elise Preston has more on who is at risk for these types of cases.
A breakthrough infection happens when someone who is fully vaccinated for COVID-19 is exposed and becomes infected.
On occasion, people who have underlying illnesses, who are older, who are immune compromised, can nonetheless, despite vaccines, get a serious infection.
84-year-old General Colin Powell had underlying conditions including Parkinson's disease and had been treated for multiple myeloma, which can severely compromise the immune system. Immunocompromised people may also not build the same levels of immunity after vaccination as healthy people. More than 189 million people in the U.S. have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19. To date, the CDC has received reports of nearly 32,000 patients with breakthrough infections who were hospitalized or died. Since May, the CDC only collects data on severe breakthrough cases.
As we look at patients who are hospitalized, that's a good indicator of severity of infection. Over 90% of them continue to be people who are unvaccinated.
Dr. William Schaffner is an infectious diseases specialist at Vanderbilt University Medical Center.
The vaccines are not perfect, but they do provide an extraordinarily strong measure of protection. And then if we add on continuing wearing the masks, social distancing, we'll be protected even further.
Dr. Schaffner also says people at high risk for severe COVID should get their booster if eligible. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Powell's wife also had a breakthrough case of COVID-19, but responded to treatment with monoclonal antibodies. The therapy is given to patients at high risk for severe infection in the first days after exposure. Many Americans with heart disease aren't getting their flu shots, and that could lead to an increased risk of heart attack or stroke. The Journal of the American Heart Association found less than half of heart disease patients under 65 got their flu vaccine. Doctors say patients are 6 times more likely to have a heart attack the week after getting the flu shot can significantly lower the risk of a cardiac event. A new report warns of the dangers of some medications used to treat asthma in children. The American Academy of Pediatrics says pediatricians need to be aware of the adverse effects of biological therapies, including the risk of anaphylaxis. The report recommends doctors and asthma patients work together to understand the benefits and risks of each medication. An estimated 7 million children in the U.S. suffer from asthma. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, some Neosho, Missouri elementary students take a break from learning to have fun in a pumpkin patch.
Plus, it looks like our temperatures are going to warm up a little bit more over the next few days. We're going to take a look at that coming up next.
Milder temperatures heading into the
Hassle, go Paschal.
Well, we definitely had a nice weekend on tap for us. Nice fall crisp evenings across the region. Pretty good day today. We made it up into the low to mid 70s, and it looks like we're going to have pretty good temps as we go through the entire week. We are going to get a cold front on Wednesday. There's really not much going on this week. We are going to get a cold front, could get a few showers, and then we are going to start to see chances for thunderstorms return by the time we head into the weekend. But the next few days, not a whole bunch of action. Of course, you can always get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. Outside right now, if you want to get outside before the evening hours, it looks great. 72 in Nevada, 71 in Neosho, 72 in Miami. We have 70 in Independence. Chanute is checking in at 73 degrees. A little breezy. South winds have been increasing a bit throughout the daytime hours, and this is going to stick around. Kind of breezy tonight and windy as we go into the next couple days with those southerly winds ahead of that cold front that will work in by the time we head into Wednesday. Looks great. 7th and range line, mostly clear skies. Currently outside at 71, south winds at about 10. Humidity is not bad at 42%. Through the evening hours, we slip back through the 60s, 50s, not as chilly as what we have seen the past couple nights. I think most of us will bottom out at about 55 or 56 degrees, but it looks good. We have just a few random little clouds streaming into southeastern Kansas, northeastern parts of Oklahoma. We do have a batch of clouds out across Kansas and Oklahoma, and those are going to push in tonight, but there's not going to be any rain with it, but we are going to get mostly cloudy skies throughout the overnight hours, and then we look good once again as we head into tomorrow. If we go out west, you can see the spin near Salt Lake City. That's our next storm system. That's going to drive in here in about 2 days, and it will give us at least some chances for some scattered showers by the time we head into Wednesday. Here are those clouds tonight, but in general, it looks pretty good. We drop back into the mid-50s. By morning, clouds roll out, mostly sunny skies, back near 70 by noon. As we go into the afternoon, I think most of us about 74, 75 degrees. So here's your forecast. 52 to start, 70 by noon, high temp is 75, but those south winds at about 10 to 20 throughout the day, so a little windier than what we did see today. Tomorrow night, clouds will start to increase again. We're not going to drop back much at all. We'll stay into the lower 60s. Here's Wednesday morning. Here comes our cold front by the afternoon. You can see spotty little light showers, maybe a random little thunder shower. By early afternoon, then they push east. That's it. That's all we're going to get from this system. But behind it, we get northerly winds, so our temperatures will start to drop off again by the time we head into Thursday and Friday, kind of back into the 60s or to near 70 degrees, much like what we saw over the weekend. Thursday and Friday look good. Warm front rolls in Saturday. Chances for showers and thunderstorms Saturday and Sunday, but our temperatures, they bounce back into the 80s by the time we head into this coming weekend. 75 for us tomorrow, 74 Wednesday, 70 on Thursday, 74 Friday. All week long, great fall-like temperatures. Then a little bit warmer with thunderstorm chances by the weekend.
Bit of rain's not too bad. Boy, those temps, beautiful.
Yeah, all in all, no complaints.
You bet. Thanks, Doc. Some elementary students in Neosho, Missouri got into the fall spirit today with a trip to a pumpkin patch. Benton Elementary hosted the event for its kindergarten students. It's part of a lesson the kids are learning about involving pumpkin characters. The event featured activities like hay bale jumping, sensory corn tubs, and ring tosses.
They get to see the animals that a lot of them have never seen before. Today, my kids were really excited because they'd never seen chickens. So they got to see those. They get to have this time where it's free play and it's exploring for them, which is something that's really important because kids learn through play.
Had never seen chickens. Wow, the pumpkin patch event took place at Benton Elementary. Coming up, Southwest Airlines battles one of its unions over vaccine mandates. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Darren Bemis served in the U.S. Air Force from 1996 to 1999. Carl Junction native was stationed in Bosnia and Kosovo, and we salute Captain Darren Bemis, a four-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, Southwest Airlines is asking a federal court to reject an effort by one of its unions to block its COVID-19 mandate. The airline says if a court sides with its pilots union, that would put its business, other employees, and customers at risk. Southwest is aiming for a November 24th deadline to have shots in arms. More women are leaving the workforce. The latest stats from the government show 300,000 women left the labor force in September. That's the largest drop-off since September of last year, according to the National Women's Law Center. The numbers indicate women continue to bear the brunt of the pandemic's impact on households, including childcare challenges. Big reason for the supply chain slowdown across our country is a lack of truck drivers to haul cargo to customers. The shortfall of drivers is expected to grow, reaching 100,000 by 2023. That's helping drive the industry's push toward an autonomous future, and it might not be that far away. Reporter Errol Barnett rode in a self-driving semi to see what's ahead.
The world's hottest auto race has no one behind the wheel. Truly autonomous driving companies like Too Simple and Waymo are competing against a slew of startups like Aurora for the future of our roads.
The Aurora driver doesn't get distracted. It doesn't drive home after having one too many drinks. It's not sleepy.
These more than 35-ton autonomous semi-trucks are now moving goods between Dallas and Houston, a first for their client, FedEx. We hitched a ride in a test run on the busy I-45 with the company's VP of Partner Programs.
And there's the acceleration.
Yep, because we've trained it to operate like a human would.
FedEx runs have two safety drivers in the cab.
It looks like we're about to turn.
Yep.
Can you put your hands up? That is very interesting.
The key is its guidance system, comprised of several mounted cameras, plus radar and LiDAR, which uses lasers to read the road.
There's another truck coming right to our left.
So it decided not to take that lane change because it saw it.
2023 is Aurora's target to hit the road without any drivers.
If I'm a rideshare driver or a truck driver right now, am I watching my replacement?
No. Definitely not. There are driver shortages, right? And so there is way more demand than there is supply.
Is 2023 a realistic goal for this company?
I have my doubts about that.
Former NTSB Chairman Robert Sumwalt says government approval will rely on fail-safes.
The real key there will be making sure that you've got multi-redundant systems. That will be critical. But these systems are actually developed by humans, and the human developers can't always anticipate each and every scenario.
When the system saw a person walking their dog along the highway, we did witness the truck change lanes, unlike its human counterparts.
We've built this system to operate safely and with conviction, but courteously as well.
Proving the polite potential of an automated world. I'm Errol Barnett in Palmer, Texas.
Yeah, it is amazing. A final check of the forecast next.
Service is provided by the Health and Environment.
The CBS Evening News is next. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more on the trends for school test scores in area districts. Plus, a look at worker shortage issues facing northeastern Oklahoma. And the U.S. Supreme Court releases an opinion in favor of an Oklahoma police department. Stay with us. CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Well, Doug, it is a picture-perfect day out there.
Yeah, it looks great. We're going to have a very nice evening. Of course, those evening daylight hours are shrinking up on us, but still, it looks pretty good for the next hour or two. And then we'll drop back into lower 50s later on tonight. Tomorrow's great, 75, a little breezy, more clouds, a couple showers on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday look pretty good, and then we heat up a bit by the weekend. And also some thunderstorms. We're going to have chances for severe weather returning by the weekend, and also a storm system next week.
Thanks, Doug, and thank you for joining us. CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.